Welcome to Chicks Chat Radio, and for those of you watching on YouTube, at Chicks Connect. I'm your host, Tita Freytag, chair chick of the Spring Chicks in Springfield, Oregon, and your connection to health options that can change life. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing fellow Chicks Connect member, Cheri Hickman. Cheri is passionate about alternative health, and she first started training with EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, in 2009. She and her business partner, Vicki Coleman, started Queen Bee Biz in 2011. In 2016, she met Dr. Eric Pearl, who trained her in reconnective healing. Both Cheri and Vicki got certified as reconnective healing practitioners. Since then, she has discovered there are devices available for frequency healing. Cheri is always looking for new ways to support you in your health and wealth. She has been semi-retired from her family business to focus on training to be a holistic health coach, promoting CBD, and ways to save money while enhancing your health. Welcome, Cheri.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak to you. This is so awesome.
I'm really excited to hear from you. You know, just the introduction here touched on topics that I personally am interested in, and I know that a lot of our listeners and our viewers are going to really want to hear from you. So let's start off by, will you please tell us the story behind what you're doing today and what challenges that you may have faced along the way?
Of course, yes. I have been for many, many years studying health, holistic health, just looking for ways that you can take care of yourself without all the drugs. I actually had a heart attack in 2013, and I was not on any kind of drugs. I was taking supplements, doing the exercises, and when I had that heart attack, I went on the drugs, of course, but the blood thinners were just hideous. My husband was even just afraid to touch me. He thought I was going to bruise because I bruise so easily. Fortunately, after about 4 months, when I broke a blood vessel, just doing some light weights, I said, that's enough. There has to be a different way. And I had been in the alternative medicine avenue, the energy healing, for a few years by then. And, you know, when you have an intention, what you need shows up. I found a holistic doctor that was referred to me by my daughter, and she got me on a program of supplements that I needed. I ran into a gal that did metabolic typing, and that was a platform where I could control my blood, which was my biggest issue, of course. I needed to make sure my blood was thin, with my diet. So I went on the food protocol, which was amazing. It was very strict, and I had to be very persistent and consistent with it. It was great for my weight control. I had no issues with my weight staying on that. I did have to have a chart because there were certain meats that I could eat with certain vegetables and certain vegetables with other certain vegetables. It was pretty crazy, actually. I had to carry that chart around with me. So definitely no fast foods, very little eating out. However, when I did eat out, I usually could make it work with that chart. It was really quite an amazing experience. So I went 7 years with that. And then 2019 and 2020 were kind of crazy years with a lot of stress in it. And I had another heart attack. So right now I am on low doses of the blood thinner and cholesterol. Mm-hmm. Throughout the whole journey since 2013, I had picked up a lot of tips and guidance from people on how to stay healthy. My heart is actually great. My heart is fine. I have one artery that likes to clog up, and I could never get my HDL and LDL ratio to work quite right. So I did break down and go on a low statin, what do you call it?
Low dose?
The dosage, yeah, the dosage, thank you. So besides all that, I I am really excited about some of the devices that I have found, the frequency devices, and these devices are amazing. It takes a little bit of everything that you have available. Like I have oils, the CBD has helped me a lot. The frequency devices, one is called the Healy, which was just introduced to the United States about a year and a half ago. Another one is called the AO scanner, and they are located out of Salt Lake City. What's really great about the frequency healing is that it gets right down into the cells. Are you familiar at all with frequency healing?
Not with the devices. I mean, I've heard, I certainly couldn't say that I know much about it. So I'm very curious.
Yes. What the AO scanner, I got that after getting the Healy because it analyzes everything from your blood, your lipids, your nerves, your muscles, your joints, and it gets very, very specific. It comes out with a report, like a 12 to 14 page report, which is amazing. What I like about the healing is that it can be done remotely. So I'm going to back up just a little bit.
Okay.
As you noted, in 2016, I think it was, is when Vicki and I got certified in reconnective healing. And it works on the same basis. You can do it remotely. It's the same thing. It's just that now with the devices, you have it right in your home that you can utilize. The Healy and the AO scanner basically do the same thing. Like I was saying before on the AO scanner, what I really like about it is the report that it sends out. So it has frequencies that you can run. Both of them have frequencies that you can run that will heal your body. My husband has edema in his legs, which is swelling of the legs. He had medical issues last year, so we're working on that, and neuropathy. With these devices, you run these devices on your body, and it actually helps eliminate the edema in his legs. Now, of course, it helps when you have a healthy diet, which he does not have. And some people, no matter what you do, they're not going to change the way they eat. So we use everything else that we can just to support them. Mm-hmm. So between the frequency devices, the CBD, the energy healing, most people can have a fairly healthy life. You can have an extremely healthy life if you also include the nutrition. Nutrition is very important, and what you eat is basically what you are. I think that saying has been out there for a while. And you can tell that in different people's body and their energy level, where they're at. I just turned 71 last month, so I feel great.
You look amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We, like you said before, we are retired, semi-retired from our family business. And that's why I decided to go into the holistic health coaching, because that is just my passion, being able to help people. Mm-hmm. With EFT, when I started the EFT back 18 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it was, that is what really got me onto the path of the energy healing. Mm-hmm. My granddaughter was 9 years old. She was staying with me. She grew so fast that her legs were in excruciating pain. And I just started training with the EFT. I said, hey, sit down, let's do this. So she was bawling. That's how bad it hurt. So we did one cycle of the EFT, like less than a minute, maybe a minute, and the pain went away. I mean, it freaked her out. I was totally excited about it and moved on with that. And it was pretty crazy.
That's
now
amazing.
My grandson is in the Air Force, and he was over in Afghanistan. So he had some emotional issues when he came back. Your family's not always the most supportive in what you're doing. So throughout the years since I've learned EFT and energy healing, they don't always totally believe in it, but there have been times when, like, my granddaughter would come in and Grammy, can you please tap me out? And with the PTSD, the tapping and the reconnective healing and the frequency devices support the emotional issues big time, because emotions are what cause the dis-ease in our body, what our thoughts are, how we're being. If you're always negative, you're more likely to be ill than if you are a positive person.
Yes.
I have been very fortunate to be able to be around 2 of my grandchildren a good portion of the time and support them, and growing up and learning how to change their thoughts. And they hold me accountable too, because we're not perfect by any means. So if I get into some of my stuff, they'll say, "Oh, Grandma, just let it go." So,
that's great. That's when you know that you're doing a good thing, because they've picked that up and they know to ask that or to say that.
right. Yeah. We have the tools. It's just remembering to use them. And a lot of times when we ourselves are in our own stuff, it takes a bit for us to recognize it or be around the people that can recognize it and let you know. So it makes a big difference in people's lives. I actually, the challenges I would say is getting people to realize that this really works.
Mm-hmm.
And usually they have to see it or feel it or experience it to believe it.
Yes.
Like with the reconnective healing, when I was training for that, one of my nieces had knee pain. And so I was practicing, she was one of my test people that I was practicing on. So I facilitated a session with her, and she didn't think she felt anything. And then a few weeks later, my other niece had a session, and we were all talking, getting together, and she started sharing what she experienced. And the first cousin goes, "Oh, you know what? My knee doesn't hurt anymore." So when it's gone, sometimes you don't even realize it's been gone. And I let people know the changes can be very subtle. And when you have a session, it's not necessarily what you came in for, because when you're being connected with the universe knows what your body needs. And so what's most important at that time takes effect. And then there's the domino effect. So instead of knee pain, it might have been an emotional issue that was taken care of. Once that emotional issue is taken care of, then it takes care of the knee pain.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing how all of this works. I really foresee frequency healing being the future of medicine. And for the cost of a cell phone or less than the cost of a cell phone, depending on if you're my age or if you're a teenager, what you spend on a cell phone.
Yes.
You can have these devices in your home. I also do remote sessions too for people who aren't ready to actually have the device itself. It's what I love about it is not only with the frequency devices, but the CBD. When I started using CBD about 3 or 4 years ago, my hands were so bad I couldn't even open a jar. And after about 3 weeks of being on a high quality CBD, I noticed that the pain was almost completely gone. And then when I got the Healy, the frequency device, about 1.5 years ago, a few weeks after that, I realized I did not have to take as much CBD. So that was helping also. And inflammation in our body is our biggest issue most of the time.
Yes.
So with the CBD, I don't know, a lot of people don't really understand what it's all about. It's not marijuana. It's a cannabis plant, which you have a marijuana plant and you have a hemp plant. And the hemp plant is where the CBD is extracted from. Living in Vegas, everything's legal. So we actually have pot growers here. They're going into buildings and growing the pot here. We have a dispensary on almost every corner, so you can get the gummies, the CBD, all kinds of stuff, and the stuff with the THC in it, which is the part that causes the hallucination part, the high. With basic CBD without the THC in it, you're getting the medicinal part, the hemp plant, because we already have an endocannabinoid system, and CBD is a cannabinoid plant that's, or being the cannabinoids being extracted from the hemp plant. Well, I just learned recently also that the endocannabinoid system is basically the umbrella of all of our systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it works like the frequency devices do. It goes to where your body needs it the most.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it repairs those cells.
Yeah, yeah.
Part of what I wanted to talk about real quick too is the CBD that I used to take was part of a MLM company, but I had to spend at least $200 a month to be able to qualify for any commissions or anything. And I was getting a high quality CBD 1500 for about $150 a month. And then I ran across this other company called Experience that has the CBD, and they have a 3,000 milligram, twice as much, that I can get for $80. So if anybody uses the CBD and they want to know how they can get it for a third of the price of what I was paying before, they can just get a hold of me and I'll share it with them. It's really quite amazing.
Well, that's great. And that brings me to a really important question. And that is, will you share with us the different ways, or maybe you have just one way that people can get a hold of you? Because I'm sure that people are going to want to do that and, ask you questions and talk to you more about your devices or your CBD or whatever.
Definitely. They can get a hold of me at my email, which is Cheri, CHERI, at queenbeebiz.com.
Okay.
And my website is also queenbeebiz.com. However, I was trying to upload something on it yesterday and it's now in critical error. So eventually it will be back up. I just need to get a hold of my hosting company to get it back up for me. And on there, we have a lot of free information about your mindset, how to be happy. If you look at the tagline, our tagline for Queen Bee Biz is a woman's journey to joy.
Nice.
So we were all about happiness and how to be happy, which starts with your mindset. We have some courses on there on how to be happy that has videos, recordings, and worksheets to follow through if anybody wants to take advantage of that.
Oh, that's wonderful. And for anyone who is listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube, I will post those links there as well,
Awesome.
So that people can get a hold of you easily.
Right. The other thing is, if they email me, I will send them 5 tips to better health and wealth that I created so that they can have that information too. Just something simple, very simple daily steps to do.
That's wonderful, Cheri. Wow, 5 steps. You guys, you got to do that. 5 easy steps. I love it. Thank you, Cheri, so much for being on here with us today.
You're welcome, and thank you for this opportunity. And hello to all the other chicks. I'm excited to start to meet you because I just joined about a month ago.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
That's great. Well, we're glad to have you. And thank you for our listeners for spending some time with us. This has been an episode of Chicks Chat Radio on podcast and YouTube at Chicks Connect. Be sure to check out Chicks Connect. It's a wonderful mastermind support network. And you can learn more about Chicks Connect at bit.ly/meet your tribe. I'm your host, Tita Freytag, Chair Chick, and your connection to health options that can change life. Bye-bye, everyone.